Hi everyone, I'm Bubbles from Susan's family. Today, I'm bringing you the Flora vest from the Retro Nostalgia series. This vest is made up of the front piece, back piece, underarm motifs, shoulders, hems, neckline edging, and flutter sleeves. First, crochet the front and back pieces, as well as the underarm motifs. Then, crochet the shoulders. After completing them, join them together. Next, crochet the hem. Once that's done, crochet the neckline. Finally, crochet the flutter sleeves. The vest comes in two sizes, small and large. When you encounter different positions, I'll provide additional instructions. First, let's learn how to crochet the front piece. Start with the magic ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise from the starting chain. The stitch techniques used include double crochet, DC, DC 2 in 1, half double crochet, HDC, single crochet, SC, treble crochet, TR, and triple crochet, FPDTR. Now, let's show. To make it easier for you to see clearly, I will demonstrate using a different color of yarn. For specific yarn color schemes and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, start with a magic ring. Then, crochet the first round. Make 3 chains to start. These 3 chains count as 1 stitch. Next, crochet the corresponding number of double crochets into the large space of the magic ring. After crocheting, close the loop. Then, slip stitch into the top 2 strands of the third chain. From the beginning chain, pull through. Tighten. This completes the first round. Since the next round requires a color change, leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. The side with the starting chain tail is the wrong side. The other side is the right side. For the rest of the crocheting, keep the right side facing you. Now, let's work the second round. First, join the yarn in the same position where you slip stitched in the previous round. Then, make 3 chains to start. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet. I won't repeat this in the following steps. Next, work a DC 2 in 1 in the adjacent double crochet. That means working 2 double crochets in the same position. Pay attention to this stitch. It might be a bit pucker, but don't skip it. As you crochet, wrap the yarn tail. This completes the DC 2 in 1. Next, work 1 double crochet in the adjacent stitch. Continue with another DC 2 in 1 in the next adjacent stitch. Now, continue alternating between double crochets and DC 2 in 1. Work this round completely. After the last DC 2-in-1 is done, join with a slip stitch to the starting chain. Pull tight. This completes the second round. Now, let's work the third round. First, make a slip stitch in the gap between the starting chain and the DC 2-in-1. Note that this slip stitch is oval-shaped, indicating that you should not pull it too tight. Next, make 3 chains to start. Then, work 1 double crochet in the same position. 3 chains. And continue with 2 more double crochets in the same position. After completing these, work in the gap between the adjacent double crochet and the DC 2-in-1, then 2 more double crochets. Three chains and 2 more double crochets. After completing these, continue working the corresponding stitch pattern in the gaps between the double crochets and the DC 2-in-1. Work this round completely. After finishing this round, join with a slip stitch to the starting chain. Pull tight. This completes the third round. Now, let's move on to the fourth round. Start by making 1 slip stitch in the adjacent chain space for the transition. Then, make 3 chains to start. Continue working the corresponding number of double crochets in this chain space. After that, make 1 chain. Make another chain. Next, continue working the corresponding number of double crochets in the chain spaces from the previous round, with 1 chain in between each set of double crochets. Work this round completely. After the last chain is finished, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. This completes the fourth round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Now, let's move on to the fifth round. Take the corresponding color of yarn. Join the yarn to the beginning chain from the previous round. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same position. Then, in the adjacent double crochet, work 1 single crochet. After that, work 1 double crochet. This double crochet goes into the second stitch of the first DC 2-in-1 from the second round. When crocheting, wrap around the third and fourth rounds. Pull the loop slightly higher, so it's about the same height as the completed stitches. After finishing, continue working 1 single crochet in each adjacent double crochet. After completing, continue in the second round. And work 1 double crochet in the second stitch of the second DC 2-in-1. Let's take a look. In this round, you are working single crochets on the double crochets. In the second round, you work a double crochet corresponding to each stitch. Finish this round. After completing the last double crochet, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. This completes the 5th round. Weave in the yarn tail and cut the yarn. Next, we'll work the 6th round. In the previous round, join the yarn in the last double crochet. Chain 5 to start. Then, in the adjacent single crochet, work a treble crochet, yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Pull the yarn through. Then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. This completes 1 treble crochet. Next, in the adjacent single crochet, work 1 double crochet. After that, in the next adjacent double crochet, work 1 half double crochet. Then, work 4 single crochets. One half double crochet. Four single crochets. One half double crochet. One treble crochet. Next, in the adjacent double crochet, work 1 double treble crochet, yarn over 3 times. Insert the hook. pull the yarn through. Then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 4 times. This completes 1 double treble crochet. Let's take a look. Consider the completed stitch pattern, including the starting chain, as one side. Work 2 chains. Treat these 2 chains as one corner. Continue working the sides and corners in the same method, all the way around. After completing the last side, work 1 more chain, then connect with the starting chain by working 1/2 double crochet. The last corner is now complete. This completes round 6. Now let's work on round 7. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Then work 1 double crochet in the chain space of the last corner from the previous round. Continue working double crochets along the edge of the previous round. After completing the edge, work 2 double crochets in the chain space at the corner. Work 2 chains. Work 2 more double crochets. Continue working double crochets along the edges and corners of the round. Work a chain between the 2 double crochets at the corner. Complete this round. After the last chain is worked, work 1/2 double crochet to join. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. This completes round 7. Now everyone, join a new yarn. Then refer to the pattern. Finish the remaining rounds. For the following rounds, always join with a 1/2 double crochet at the end. After completing all rounds, leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Then hide the yarn tails on the wrong side. That concludes the front piece. Next, let's learn how to crochet the back piece. We will also use the magic ring method. Start by crocheting in rounds counterclockwise from the magic ring, then work back and forth. Now, let's show. Start with a magic ring. Then crochet the first round. Chain 2 as a beginning chain. The beginning chain counts as 1/2 double crochet. Next, in the large space of the magic ring, crochet 2 half double crochets. After that, chain 2. Continue in the large space of the magic ring, alternating 3 half double crochets and 2 chains. Repeat 2 times. After completing, crochet 3 more half double crochets. Finally, crochet 1 chain. Then close the magic ring. Join with a single crochet to the beginning chain. This completes the first round. Now, let's crochet the second round. Chain 3 as a beginning chain. Then, in the last chain space of the previous round, crochet 1 double crochet, then, crochet 1 double crochet into the next half double crochet on the left side. Skip 1 stitch. In the chain space, crochet 2 double crochets. Two chains. And 2 double crochets. After completing, skip 1 stitch, crochet 1 double crochet into the adjacent double crochet. Continue following this process. Refer to the chart to complete this round. After completing, make a half double crochet to join. This completes the second round. Next, everyone continue to follow the chart and work all the way down to the 7th round. The stitch techniques and methods have been demonstrated before. Everyone can refer to the chart and crochet accordingly. Now let's crochet the 8th row. Make 3 chains to start. Then refer to the chart and work all the way down to the 3rd side. After finishing, in the corner chain space, make 2 more double crochets. This completes the 8th row. Next, let's crochet the 9th row. Make 3 chains to start. Turn the work. Then crochet along the stitches and chain spaces of the previous row. After turning, the stitches will be in the upper left position. Finally, on the starting chain of the previous row, work a double crochet. This completes the 9th row. Now everyone continue to follow the chart and finish the remaining rows. After completing each row, turn the work. After completing all the rows, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That concludes the back piece. Next, we'll learn how to crochet the underarm motifs. There are 2 identical pieces. Each piece is divided into 3 sections and an edging. Start by crocheting the first section. Then, crochet the second section along the first section, and the third section. After completing the sections, crochet the edging. First, let's learn how to crochet the first section. We will start from the foundation chain. Work back and forth along the starting chain. The new stitch techniques used include DC 3 in 1, 1 DC in the same stitch, and DC 2 tog, long needle decrease, DC 2 tog, DC 3 tog, double crochet 3 stitches together. Now, let's show. First, chain the corresponding number of stitches. Refer to the chart for the specific number of stitches. I have fewer stitches here. After completing the starting chain, start working row 1. Make 3 chains to start. Then, pick up the back loop of the 6th chain from the hook. Work 1 DC 3 in 1, 1 DC in the same stitch. That means work 3 DCs in the same position. After completing that, skip 2 stitches. Then work another DC 3 in 1. Continue this process. Finish the entire row. After completing the last DC 3 in 1, skip 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet. That completes the first row. Consider this side of the row as the right side of the piece. This is the side where the starting tail of the yarn is on the left side. Now, let's work row 2. Make 3 chains to start. Turn your work. Then, work 2 double crochets into the middle stitch of the DC 3 in 1. Work 1 chain between them. Finish the row. Finally, work 1 double crochet into the beginning chain. That completes the second row. Next, continue following the chart. Complete the remaining rows of the first part. Don't cut the yarn when you finish. Note, the number of rows differs for different sizes. That concludes the first part. After completing the first part, move on to the second part. Here, I'll demonstrate with a small sample. Continue crocheting with the previous yarn tail. Start with the first row. Make 3 chains to start. Turn your work. Then, work 3 double crochets into each of the next 3 chain spaces on the left side. Note that this is a small sample. The stitch count is smaller. Follow the chart for your project. After completing that, work 1 double crochet in the next chain space. Then, work 1 double crochet, 3 stitches together. First, work 1 incomplete double crochet in the current chain space. Then, skip 1 double crochet. In the next double crochet, work 1 more incomplete double crochet. Then, skip 1 chain. In the next double crochet, work one more incomplete double crochet. Now there are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all the loops once. That completes the double crochet 3 stitches together. The first row of the second part is now complete. Next, we'll work the second row. Chain 4 as a turning chain. This turning chain doesn't count as one stitch. Then, turn your work. In the left chain space, where the double crochet was worked, work 1 DC2 tog. That means working 2 incomplete double crochets separately. Then yarn over and draw through all the loops once. That completes 1 DC2 tog. Continue referring to the chart. Finish this row. Once completed, the second row is done. Next, we'll work the third row. Chain 3 as a turning chain. Turn your work. First, refer to the chart. Work double crochets. Finally, work 1 double crochet, 3 stitches together. Insert the hook into the last incomplete double crochet on the DC2 tog. Yarn over and draw through all the loops once. That completes the third row. Now, everyone continue referring to the chart. Finish the remaining rows of the second part. After completing, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That concludes the second part. Next, we'll work on the third part. I'll demonstrate using a small sample. First, on the first row of the second part, at the last stitch, skip the corresponding number of chain spaces. Then join the yarn on the corresponding double crochet. Follow the stitch pattern on the chart to crochet. Complete this row. Once finished, the first row is complete. Next, everyone continue referring to the chart. Finish the remaining rows. After completing, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That completes the third section. Now, let's crochet the edging. Crochet along the sides and the curved areas. Now, let's show. Hold the fabric with the right side facing you. The curved area should be on the left. Start with a chain stitch. Pick up 1-2 strands of yarn at the edge to join the yarn. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same stitch. Continue crocheting along the edges of each row. For the beginning chain, pick up the entire beginning chain. For double crochets, pick up the entire stitch. The insertion points and stitch count here can be referenced from the chart. You can also adjust based on your tension. There's no strict requirement for the stitch count. Just make sure the fabric piece is flat after you finish. Continue crocheting this side. Once one side is finished, crochet 1 more stitch at the last row of stitches. Then, continue crocheting along the inner edge of the second part. Similarly, crochet along the edge stitches. When you encounter decreases, pick up the incomplete double crochets. After the edge is finished, crochet along the last row of stitches and chain spaces of the first part. Once that is done, repeat this process to finish the remaining part. After the other side is finished, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. That completes the edging. We have now covered one underarm motif. Follow the same method to crochet another piece. Next, let's learn how to crochet the shoulders. There are also two identical pieces. Both consist of puff stitches and edging. First, crochet the corresponding number of puff stitches, except for the first complete crochet. For the subsequent puff stitches, you need to crochet them while connecting to the previous one. The puff stitches are all started with a magic ring. Crochet along the starting chain. The new stitch technique used is the DC5 bobble. Now, let's show. Start with a magic ring. Chain 4. Then pick up the top half loop of the first chain, and join with a slip stitch. Here, the magic ring is completed. Next, let's crochet the first round. Crochet the corresponding number of single crochets into the starting ring. Join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. That completes the first round. Now, let's crochet the second round. Work 2 chains as the beginning chain. Then, in the adjacent single crochet, crochet a DC5 bobble. First, work 5 unclosed double crochets. Then, yarn over, and draw through in once. That completes one DC5 bobble. From now on, we'll call it a bobble stitch. Crochet 2 more chains. Then, in the adjacent single crochet, crochet a slip stitch. As you crochet, push the bobble stitch to the right side. Crochet 2 more chains. Continue by crocheting another bobble stitch in the adjacent single crochet. Crochet 2 more chains. Let's take a look. In this round, you will crochet bobble stitches into the single crochets from the previous round. Crochet 2 chains on either side. In between, crochet 1 slip stitch. Work this round completely. After the last 2 chains are finished, in the same position as the previous slip stitch, crochet another slip stitch. Then leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. That completes one puff flower. Tidy up the shape. Now let's crochet the second puff flower. First, finish the first round. I have already completed this part in advance. Now let's move on to the second round. When crocheting this round, at any 2 adjacent bobble stitch positions, connect to the previous puff flower. Here, I will demonstrate the method of connecting. Make 2 chains as the beginning chain. In the adjacent single crochet, crochet 1 bobble stitch. After completing it, take out the previous puff flower. Connect with 1 slip stitch to any one of the bobble stitches of the puff flower. Insert the hook from the wrong side to the right side, through the stitch of the bobble. Crochet a slip stitch. This connects to the previous puff flower once. Then make 2 chains. In the adjacent single crochet, crochet 1 slip stitch. 2 chains. Then in the adjacent single crochet, crochet 1 bobble stitch, and connect to the previous puff flower. This connects to the previous puff flower twice. Continue to finish this puff flower. No need to connect to the previous puff flower anymore. After completing it, the second puff flower is done. Next, everyone follow the method used for the second puff flower, and crochet the remaining number of puff flowers. Note: when connecting later, always connect at the corresponding 2 bobble stitches. That concludes the puff flowers. Now let's crochet the edging. Crochet along both sides of the connected puff flowers. The method for both sides is the same. I will demonstrate using one side as an example. First, we'll crochet the first row. Here, I'm using a small sample to demonstrate. Place the connected puff flowers with the wrong side facing you. One side should be facing up. At the connection point on the edge, join the yarn to the right, skipping one bobble stitch. Place the yarn tail on the wrong side. Then make 3 chains to start. Work 3 more chains. Next, work a single crochet in the adjacent bobble stitch. Work 3 more chains. Then at the connection point, work a double crochet. After that, work 3 more chains. Let's take a look. Except for the edge, you will be working single crochets in the bobble stitches. Work double crochets at the connection points and edges. Work 3 chains on each side. Finish this row. After completing the last double crochet, the first row is done. Now let's work the second row. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn your work. Then work a single crochet in the last double crochet of the previous row. Work 3 single crochets in the next chain space. Continue working a single crochet in the adjacent single crochet. This row involves working single crochets in the chain spaces and stitches. Continue to finish this row. Finally, work 1 more single crochet in the beginning chain. That completes the second row. Leave a yarn tail. Hide all the yarn tails on the wrong side. This completes one side of the edging. Next, follow the same method. Complete the edging on the other side as well. That concludes the edging. Here is my completed small sample. Next, everyone follow the same method. Crochet another shoulder piece. That completes the shoulder. Then, join together the front and back pieces. The underarm motifs. And the shoulders. First, join the sides of the front and back pieces to the ends of the shoulder piece. After joining, attach the underarm motifs to both sides. Now, let's show. First, take the front piece and one shoulder piece. Both should have the right side facing out, so one side of the front piece to one end of the shoulder piece. If you have stitch markers, use them to temporarily secure the joining position. If you don't have stitch markers, you can use safety pins or paper clips instead. Cut the joining position about 2-3 times longer. Use the same color yarn for the shoulder edge. Thread the darning needle. Then join using the whip stitch method. pick up and join the adjacent half stitch. Start by inserting the needle into any edge stitch. Here, I will start from the shoulder piece. Insert the needle into the edge stitch. Exit through the adjacent stitch. Leave a tail of yarn. Follow the same method for the front piece. Insert the needle into the edge stitch. Exit through the adjacent stitch. Note that the chain stitch positions at the corners do not need to be joined. Repeat this process. Sew 2-3 more stitches. Insert the needle into the position where you just exited from the shoulder piece. Exit through the adjacent stitch. Insert the needle into the position where you just exited from the front piece. Exit through the adjacent stitch. After joining a few stitches, slightly tighten the yarn tail. You can see that using this joining method, there are no visible seams. The fabric piece looks neat. Continue with this method below, matching and joining together. After joining the stitches on the front piece, weave in the yarn tail to the wrong side, and tie a knot to hide it. You can tie a few more knots to secure it. Also, hide the yarn tail at the starting point on the wrong side. This way, one side of the shoulder on the front piece is joined. Next, follow the same method too. Join the other side of the front piece to the other shoulder. Sew them together using the same method. Here's what the sample looks like after joining. Then, on the other end of the shoulder, join it to the back piece. I'll explain this using a sample. When joining, fold the edges of the last few rows of the back piece inward. That is, opposite to the front piece. Then join the sides to the shoulders. The last row should have the wrong side facing out. When joining, pick up the nearby half stitches. Use the whip stitch method to join. You can also mark and secure the pieces before joining. The joining method is the same as for the front piece. Now, everyone can complete it on their own. After the back piece is joined, join the sides of the underarm pieces to the sides of the shoulders. When joining, keep the right side facing out. Position the curved side facing up. Sew the left and right sides of the underarm piece to the ends of the shoulder. The joining method is the same as before. Now, everyone can complete it on their own. This concludes the joining of the underarm motifs to the shoulders. Up to this point, we have covered all the joining. Next, let's learn how to crochet the hem. Crochet in rounds down from the joined shoulder and the front and back pieces. It consists of the waist pattern and the hem. First, crochet the waist pattern, then, crochet the hem. Now, let's show. First, crochet the first round. Take the joined part. Position the shoulders facing down. Then, join the yarn in the chain space at the edge of the right side underarm motif on the back piece. Make one beginning chain, then, work one single crochet in the same position. Next, work a DC2 tog along the edge of the underarm motif and the shoulder edge. Here, you can pick up the stitch of a single crochet to crochet, or you can pick up 1-2 strands from the side to crochet. Then, pick up the chain space at the shoulder edge and work 2 double crochets. Two chains. Then, pick up the braid formed by the puff stitch slip stitch. Work 1 treble crochet. Then, work 2 chains. After completing, pick up the side of a double crochet and work 2 double crochets. Then, work 1 DC2 tog. Pick up the chain space at the shoulder side and the corner of the back piece to insert the hook and crochet. After completing, crochet the corresponding stitch pattern along the back piece. After completing, work 1 more DC2 tog. Continue crocheting along the side when you reach the shoulder. Pay attention. After completing the treble crochet here, for the smaller size, work 1 chain. When you reach the other side under the arm motif, crochet along the chain spaces and work 3 double crochets into the same stitch. Continue with this method below, following the chart, and complete this round. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the starting single crochet. Pull tight. This completes the first round of the waist motif. Next, we will crochet the second round. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Crochet 2 half double crochets into the next adjacent stitch. Then crochet 3 single crochets. Two half double crochets. One double crochet. 2 half double crochets. And 2 single crochets. Let's take a look. Treat the third single crochet and the following stitches as one group. Repeat this group of stitches. Work this round completely. Finish by completing the starting group. After completing, join with the beginning chain using a slip stitch. Pull tight. That completes the first round. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. Now let's crochet the third round. Join the yarn in the same position, where you slip stitched in the previous round. Make a chain 1 as the beginning chain. Crochet 1 single crochet in the same position. Next, in the middle of the 3 single crochets on the left side, crochet 7 double crochets. After completing them, crochet 1 single crochet in the adjacent double crochet. This round alternates between crocheting 7 double crochets in the corresponding single crochet, and 1 single crochet in the double crochet. Work this round completely. After completing, join with the beginning single crochet using a slip stitch. Pull tight. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. This completes the third round. Now, let's move on to the fourth round. Join the yarn at the first single crochet. Make 3 chains to start. Crochet 3 more double crochets in the same position. In the middle of the next 7 double crochets, crochet 1 single crochet. In the adjacent single crochet, crochet 7 double crochets. Continue this process. Work this round completely. After completing the last single crochet, crochet 3 more double crochets at the starting position. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the 4th round. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. Now, everyone, refer to the pattern. Crochet the 5th round as well. After completing it, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That concludes the waist pattern. Next, we'll crochet the hem. Continue crocheting along the waist pattern. The new stitch techniques used include the DC3 bobble, DC4 popcorn, SC2 tog, and the picket of 3 chain stitches. Now, let's show. First, crochet the first round. Join the yarn at the last round of the waist pattern. Make 3 chains to start. Crochet 1 double crochet in the adjacent stitch. Continue with 1 DC2 and 1 in the adjacent stitch. Then make 4 chain stitches. Skip 4 stitches. Crochet 1 double crochet. Three chain stitches. Then skip 2 stitches. Crochet 3 double crochets. Three chain stitches. Then skip 3 stitches. Crochet 1 DC3 bobble. Start with 3 incomplete double crochets. Then yarn over and draw through in once. This completes 1 DC3 bobble. Make 3 chain stitches. Skip 3 stitches. Crochet 3 double crochets. Three chain stitches. Skip 2 stitches and crochet 1 double crochet. Next, repeat the pattern within the box. Work this round completely. Complete the first group. Join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. This completes the first round. Now, everyone refer to the chart. Crochet the second and third rounds. The stitch techniques and methods have been demonstrated. Follow the chart to crochet. After completing these, move on to the fourth round. Start with 3 chain stitches for the turning chain. Crochet 3 double crochets in the large space, where the last double crochet was joined. After crocheting, stretch the loop. Remove the hook. Insert the hook into the third chain of the beginning chain, and draw the loop out. As you crochet, push the completed stitches forward. Then crochet a chain stitch to secure. Treat the completed section as a special DC4, popcorn. Next, crochet 3 chain stitches. Then, in the next chain space, crochet a 4 DC popcorn stitch. First, crochet 4 double crochets. Loosen the loop. Insert the hook into the first double crochet, and draw the loop out. Then crochet a chain stitch to secure. This completes 1 DC4, popcorn. Next, crochet 3 chain stitches. In the next chain space, crochet another DC4, popcorn. After completing it, crochet 1 chain stitch. On the adjacent stitch, crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. After completing it, crochet 4 chain stitches. Then crochet 2 double crochets together, DC2 tog. After completing it, crochet 4 more chain stitches. Then crochet 1 DC2 in 1. Followed by 2 double crochets. Continue with the group as shown in the diagram. Work this round completely. After completing the starting group, crochet a double crochet to connect. Insert the hook into the beginning chain. This completes the 4th round. Now let's work on the 5th round. Refer to the chart. Crochet until you reach the SC2 tog. After that, crochet 1 SC2 tog. First, crochet 1 incomplete single crochet in each of the 2 DC2 tog. Now you should have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all the loops on the hook. This completes the SC2 tog. Then crochet 4 chain stitches. Continue to complete this round. After finishing, join with a slip stitch. This completes the 5th round. Now let's work on the 6th round. First, crochet 1 slip stitch into the chain space on the left side for the transition. Then refer to the chart. Complete this round. After finishing, join with a slip stitch. This completes the 6th round. Next, everyone refer to the chart. Continue all the way down to the final round. The stitch techniques and methods used have been demonstrated before. There are no new stitch techniques involved. Just follow the chart for the crochet, then proceed to the final round. I'll demonstrate the method using a small sample. First, make a beginning chain. Then, in the adjacent stitch, work 1 single crochet. Next, work a picket of 3 chain stitches. Start by making 3 chain stitches. Then pick up the strand in front and the strand below and make a slip stitch. This completes the picket of 3 chain stitches. We'll call this a picket from now on. Next, make a chain stitch. Then, in the left chain space, work 1 single crochet, 1 picket, one chain stitch. In this chain space, work another single crochet and 1 picket. After that, make another chain stitch. Then, in the next chain space, work the same way. Once completed, in the left chain space, work the corresponding number of double crochets. After each double crochet is completed, work a picket. In between, make 1 chain stitch. Once completed, in the next chain space, work 1 single crochet, 1 picket, and then 1 chain stitch. Continue below by working in the chain spaces and single crochet stitches. Hooking short needles and long needles, and making chain intervals between picots. Refer to the chart and complete this round. After the last chain stitch is finished, join it with the starting single crochet using a slip stitch. Pull tight. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. This completes the final round. The hem is now fully done. Next, we will crochet the neckline edging. Work in rounds along the neckline. Now, let's show. Join the yarn at the edge of the last row of the back piece. Make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet in the same position. Now, everyone, work along the side edges of the last few rows of the back piece. Skip one row first, then work the corresponding stitch pattern. Here, I am working on a small sample. Continue working along the stitch positions. For this small sample, the number of stitches and the intervals are not for reference. I'll just demonstrate the method. After completing it, work along the stitch pattern of the shoulder edging. After finishing, continue working along the front piece, and work along the stitch pattern of the other shoulder edging. After completing it, join with a slip stitch to the starting single crochet. Pull tight. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. That's how you finish the neckline. Now let's learn how to crochet the flutter sleeves. There are two identical pieces. Both are worked along the remaining half stitches and stitches on the shoulder. Here, I'll use the finished product to explain the joining position. For the left flutter sleeve, this is based on the actual wearing position to distinguish left from right. Join the yarn at one stitch on the left shoulder edge. For the right flutter sleeve, start from the back piece side. Join the yarn at one stitch on the shoulder edge. Then work back and forth. Below, I'll demonstrate the method using one side as an example. Note: the joining positions for different sizes are slightly different. For the smaller size, join the yarn at the second stitch. For the larger size, join the yarn at the first stitch. Here, I'm joining the yarn at the first stitch. Pick up the remaining half stitch, and insert the hook. Make one beginning chain. Work a single crochet in the same position. Then continue following the stitch pattern on the chart. Complete this row. When you reach the stitch position, pick up the stitch and crochet normally. After finishing, the larger size ends at the last stitch. The smaller size ends at the second to last stitch. This completes the first row. Now, let's move on to the second row. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Work 2 more chains. Then continue following the stitch pattern on the chart. After completing, the second row is done. Next, everyone continue to follow the chart. Finish all rows before the last one. After completing, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. Now, let's crochet the last row. Take the corresponding color of yarn. Join the yarn along the edge of the first row. Leave about a 20 cm yarn tail. Then work single crochets along the edge following the stitch pattern. After finishing the edge, work 2 chains. Then follow the stitch pattern along the last row. Start by making a slip stitch in the single crochet. Work 2 more chains. Then work single crochets along the double crochet stitches, and work picots. After completing, work 2 more chains. Make a slip stitch in the single crochet. Work 2 more chains. Let's take a look at the position of the last row. It involves working single crochets and picots on the double crochet stitches. Work a slip stitch in the single crochet. Work 2 chains on either side. Continue working along the last row. After completing, continue working single crochets along the edge. After finishing, leave a long yarn tail, and break the yarn. Thread the reserved yarn tail onto a darning needle. Then, join the crocheted side seam to the second row of the waist pattern. Sew along the stitches. After joining, hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. For the other side, follow the same method. Sew along the waist pattern, approximately the second row, using the yarn tail you reserved at the beginning. Now, everyone can complete it on their own. That's it for one side of the flutter sleeve. For the other side, follow the same method, crochet and join it in the same way. That covers the flutter sleeves. Up to this point, we've covered the entire vest. If you have any unclear points while crocheting, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family. Support your handwork experience. Enjoy the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.